Can you imagine the suspense? 2 million Jews standing around this man-made hut of sorts called the Mishkan, the tabernacle, which they worked so hard to make, which they all donated their money to make, which they brought their expertise to make the tapestries, to make the hangings. And they're not sure. Can they really make this structure the way God intended? Fulfill all the instructions, so to speak, cross all the T's, dot all the I's, get everything correct, get everything right. You know, I think back to when I was a kid, play with Lego, and then when we moved up to the big leagues, maybe 10, 11 years old, we started to tinker with wires and 9-volt batteries and bulbs and put together things and little motors. Whenever we got one of those contraptions to actually work, bravo, we were junior electricians. Too often we forgot to connect something, or one of the fittings was loose, but we were always in suspense. Those were little leagues, my friend. Can you imagine 2 to 3 million Jewish people, men, women, and children, having come out of the Exodus, come out of Egypt, gone through the experience of Mount Sinai, fell into the terrible abyss of the golden calf, feeling a little bit unworthy. God said, I forgive you, and I want you to make a temporary abode for me. Donate the commodities, the gold, silver, copper, all the tapestries. Create a space for me with the Holy Ark, with the menorah, with the table, with the showbread, everything. They do their best. But is their best good enough? Can you imagine that suspense? Are the lights going to go on? Is God actually going to fill with his presence, the space of the Mishkan, of that space they've created? Come on. King Solomon says, the heavens and the heavens of heavens cannot sustain you, God. You created everything. Do you think this little space that we've made for you here on earth can be an abode for you? And the answer is yes. You know what happened? God's presence filled that space, filled the Mishkan. Because yes, while it doesn't make sense that we as mortals can make a space for God when he's infinite, what can we finite beings do? But because he has commanded us to do it, and he said, make for me a space here on earth and I will dwell in it, and through that I will dwell in each and every one of you. When those lights go on, when that God's presence fills and pervades that space, and through that space, all of our hearts, that's unbelievable. And it reminds us, although we may be finite, though we may be limited, though we may have all of our frailties and all of our human inconsistencies and even sinfulness sometimes, it is our intention, it is our zeal, it is our input, it is our excitement, it is our toil and desire to bring God into our midst that Hashem is looking out for, and he will come. But don't make the mistake of thinking that you don't have to look at the details. Because if you don't connect those wires, when I was a kid, the bulb didn't go on. But you know what? God also wants not just the inspiration, he also wants the obedience, that we follow his instructions to the T, with all the details. When we go to a mitzvah, it's not just feeling that I want to do something nice for God. It's truly asking God, what is it, with all the details, that you wish me to do? And when you do the details of the mitzvah, and you bring your heart with you, the bulb goes on. A little secret here, cosmic secret: if you did the deed with all of its details, as Hashem prescribes, as he teaches us in the Torah, you gave a loaf of bread to a poor person, but you didn't bring your heart, you didn't really feel like giving a loaf of bread, you still did the mitzvah. The action that is done causes the cosmic light bulb to go on. Much better to do an action with feeling. But if you can't seem to muster that feeling, and it's either do it or don't do it. Because if you have the feeling to help the poor person, but you don't actually give the loaf of bread, the the bulb doesn't go on. You got to give that loaf of bread. So here's to all of you, success in doing the right thing, getting that godly cosmic light bulb to go up in the world, to make this world a dwelling place for God.